What's up, YouTube Mania, Poke Peeps? This is Heretic here, and I'm back with the Maxie Chomp deck profile that you guys all requested following the previous match video. I'd like to apologize in advance about the, or I shouldn't say in advance, about the lighting on the previous match video and the inability to see Mari's Night March cards. Unfortunately didn't notice that until we had already shot the video. However, I wanted you guys to be able to see how the deck worked, so anyway, I'm going to go ahead and show you the expanded list, and then I will show you the changes to make it into a standard format deck as well. So we're going to start. We've got 4 Hawluchas. These little guys are pretty useful. They got free retreat. They do a lot of damage to EXs. It's basic, obviously. Only needs 1 energy to attack. A lot of pros to this thing, only real drawbacks. It doesn't hit for weakness and only hits EXs. But that's not too big a deal, really. We got 2 Garchomps. This is the specialty attacker in the deck, kind of like almost like you could say the focal point, although we can definitely win matches without him depending on what we're playing against. So you use Maxie to get him into play, and then for 1 fighting energy he does 60 damage, plus any damage modifiers, which this deck has quite a few. And he accelerates any energy card from the discard onto either himself or one of your bench Pokemon. That includes like strong energy or whatever else you might run. And then his second attack for 2 fighting does 80, plus if they're an EX it does 80 more, so 160. A single strong energy, a Muscle Band, or a Fighting Stadium in play, and you're hitting 180 damage. If you got 2 strong, a Muscle Band, and a Fighting Stadium, you just hit 240, KOing everything this side of Wailord. And we got 1 Landorus EX because it's just really good. 30-30 with Hammerhead, still awesome. Lance Judgment kills anything. And we got Lucario as well. Draw power off a second attack, plus just the fact that it has a cheap attack as well. It ignores resistance and a big beefier third attack. We play 1 Keldeo to get out of the active. And then, much like in Archstoys, we play 2 Shaymins and 2 Jirachis to search Maxies and draw a whole bunch of cards. So similar engine going on there. Supporter-wise, we play 3 copies of Professor Sycamore. I know a lot of people only like 2 in these kind of decks. I like to have the extra consistency, especially once you Maxie. So we got 2 Maxie's balls, or as Mari called it, Maxie pads, whatever. Gets Garchomp into play, so we can start accelerating energy and just go bonkers with a really beastie 1 prize attacker that has no retreat cost, I might add. And we got Giovanni's Scheme to do even more damage. We got Lysander to target down whatever we want to kill. Hex Maniac to take away like certain abilities, Aegis Slash, Bronzong, Blastoise, definitely a big one there. And we got an N because Shuffle Draw. Pretty good, and it's still good to have in case you draw a handful of stuff you don't want to discard for some reason. We got 2 Fighting Stadiums. I don't want to play more than that because if you start drawing a whole bunch of them early game when you're trying to Maxie, that's just not good. That's why for the longest time in Blastoise I only wanted to play 1 Rough Seas, but we play 2 Fighting Stadiums here. 4 VS Seekers to get our supporters back. And we got 4 Battle Compressors to help set up early game. Get Garchomp in the discard pile, maybe compress an energy or 2 for Garchomp's attack. Anything else we might not need, some 1-of supporters, etc. 4 Ultra Ball. Get cards out of your hand so you can use Maxie, and also just search out whatever Pokemon you need. 4 Trainer's Mail and 3 Acrobike as kind of a turbo engine to help us get to first turn Maxies more frequently. 1 Tool Scrapper to deal with primarily Garbodor, Life Dew, Focus Sash if you're in OHKO range, which this deck can get into. A lot more than you might think. Computer Search because it's pretty much the best card in the deck because it gets you anything. And we got, for tools, we got 2 Float Stones. If you go on Keldeo, you're usually pretty good. We got 2 Muscle Bands and 1 Focus Sash. Run a lot of fighting types, so Focus Sash is definitely useful. However, you're just kind of balancing the tools. You don't want to run too many of them and have them clog up your hand. Muscle Band over Fighting Fury Belt, primarily just because we can hit the 240 damage there, and if my opponent plays Fighting Fury Belt, that's why we play Tool Scrapper. And then 2 Float Stones, obviously, to get things out of the active spot. And then finally we have 4 strong energies and a total of 6 fighting energies to round out the deck. And then in expanded format, we lose Landorus, Keldeo, 2 Jirachis, N, Tool Scrapper, and Computer Search. Now the other 53 cards are actually going to stay the same, believe it or not. I know a lot of times that wouldn't be the case, but in this case, believe me, in the way I've tested it out, it actually does stay the same. So, go ahead and get these other cards ready. I only have so many blue sleeves, believe it or not. But in any case, right here, going into a look at the standard version of the deck, we're going to go ahead and place another Lucario in place of Landorus. It's pretty simple. And then in place of Keldeo, we're going to run a 2/2 Zoroark line. Stand-in Zoroark's ability, exactly the same as Keldeo's Rush In. So it's pretty much, you're just kind of filling in for the stuff that we already had. It's pretty self-explanatory. Judge replaces N, as you might expect. And then we add a 4th Acrobike because we don't have Computer Search. So that's, that right there is your standard list. So really not too far off from the expanded. The only real thing we're missing is we don't have the megaphone in here, and that is very well could be an inclusion instead of the Acrobike. We could definitely end up going the route of a startling megaphone instead of the 4th Acrobike if it were to prove necessary. That could definitely be a thing. You could also try this out with Fighting Fury Belt instead of Muscle Band. Like I said, I like to be able to hit higher damage numbers, but I could definitely see running it that way. And I don't run Puzzle of Time because, again, stuff just gets kind of clunky if you draw single copies. I mean, sure, you could just lay them down and rearrange top 3, I guess, so there's really no reason not to run it. But since we're not running, like, teammates or anything, I just figured I wanted to maximize everything. But that's another card that, again, you could definitely play 4 copies of that if you find the room. But that's Maxie Chomp. It's been a pretty darn fun deck to play so far. That's what I got for you right now. I'll see you guys again soon. Cheers.